He agreed they could both take other lovers. But is there ever room in a marriage for more than two? We asked Anita, Mark and her Italian boyfriend Andrea, 30, to explain their unusual situation. About a year ago, I went public with my new relationship by posting a photograph on Facebook of Mark, my husband, and I enjoying a day out with our two children. After a very happy decade together, I told Mark that he wasn't enough for me. Yes, we had a great life together and made a great parenting team. But I wanted more. I didn't want to go sneaking off behind his back having affairs. But I told him the idea of having sex only with him for the next 40 years wasn't really what I wanted anymore. I was Mrs. Conventional, and, in many ways, I still am. My day revolves around school drop-off and pickup, deciding whether to make a casserole for dinner, helping with the kids' homework and hockey practice. But there had been this creeping sense that my life was lacking in some way. That there was something wrong, and I could never put my finger on it. I loved Mark, and our sex life was good. But I was lonely. I'd tried making more friends. I joined a local writing group. There, I started writing about a woman having an affair, and, as part of the research, I was reading a lot about infidelity and relationships. The book is about relationships and why we feel we have to live a certain way. Any chapter is about non-monogamous relationships. It made complete sense to me, so much so that I asked Mark to read the book as a starting point for our conversation around the kitchen table. You shut all the windows and doors, trying to keep what you have to yourselves. But the air turns sour because there's no oxygen. Opening up our marriage did wonders for our relationship at first. We communicated better, and the sex was much better. It really was like opening the doors and windows again. It's not that I was living a lie before. I was 28 when I met Mark at a singles event. We married 2 years later. For our life, I thought. But 8 years later, as we sat at the kitchen table, we agreed to try a different type of relationship. My attempts to meet and flirt with other people were all quite tentative at first. But then, I discovered there was this whole online scene for others who feel like I do, that monogamy is not all it's cracked up to be. It worked fast to match me with someone, and I had a date within a week. Dating again was nerve-wracking. Mark stayed at home with the kids when I went out the first time, and we chatted about it when I got home. It hadn't gone brilliantly, and I only saw that guy twice. Like a lot of people in that first year, he seemed to think non-monogamous meant casual. It is how some people like to manage this, but it's not my way. Every time I had a date, Mark knew where I was going and with whom. People assume it is all about sex, but it isn't. Every so often, you find there is a real connection, as there was with Andrea, whom I met through a dating site 2 years ago. We had lots in common, a love of sci-fi and reading, and we had both thought long and hard about how relationships could work. It was 6 months before we spent a weekend together, but we became close very quickly. He met Mark after 9 months, and the kids after a year. They are 10 and 8, too young to know the details, but I've explained what monogamy is and that I don't believe it's right for me anymore. I know other people struggled to understand our situation. I told my mother when she came on holiday with us, and it was clear something was wrong between me and Mark. She was much more relaxed about it than I'd expected. Ultimately, she just wants me to be happy. People may think me selfish. But I think it would be more selfish to myself and to my family to keep plotting on when I wasn't happy. When people criticize me, I wonder if it is because they are looking at their own marriages and asking questions. Mark was always free to see other people, but after a few dates, it became clear it wasn't for him. A polyamorous relationship isn't for everyone. We stopped sleeping together about 18 months ago and agreed to separate, although we are still living in the same house. I will move out soon. With the kids. It's complicated. Andrea stays over occasionally, and we all get along, Mark included. I'm aware what I'm doing raises eyebrows, and I understand why. I'm sure I am the talk of the school gates. What makes me sad is that not one person has asked me about it. The reason I'm speaking out is because I think it's something we should talk more about. Monogamy isn't for everyone, just as polyamory isn't. Not everyone will find the solution I did, but it's the right one for me. We both knew Anita wasn't completely happy. At first, I thought she needed more space. Space away from the children and the demands of running the house. Space to write. At first, that is what we tried to change, to give Anita more time and space. I didn't tell my friends what was happening at first. I only explained the circumstances when we finally split. I'm afraid I was saddened by their reactions, which ranged from "you need a good lawyer" to "I'd never have allowed that." I can't say I wasn't hurt. Ego takes a bit of a bashing, but more than anything, I think we both felt sad that things had changed. Why did I go along with it? Well, I read up on polyamory, and, intellectually, I could see it had a lot going for it. I was determined to at least try. We did keep talking all the way through it. I didn't want to know all the details of Anita's dates, but we agreed that I would know who she was meeting and where, for safety's sake. I do remember the first date she went on. She didn't stay out all night, she came back, and we talked about it. I don't think it had been quite what she was expecting. I found it hard to be at home, wondering what she was up to. Ultimately, it wasn't the sexual relationships that were difficult to bear, but the emotional ones. Anita and I have different memories of what triggered our decision to separate. She remembers me being upset when she came home from the weekend away with Andrea. It's true that I went on a few dates myself, but I don't think my heart was ever in it. Some men might leap at the chance to have other relationships with their wife's permission, but I've discovered I have a preference for monogamy. I'd never been unfaithful in a relationship, even before Anita. I didn't want anyone else. For me, it has reinforced what I already knew I wanted, a life with one person. I do have that vision of being old and sitting on a park bench with a special someone, but it won't be Anita, and I wouldn't want it to be Anita if she doesn't want the same thing. I do still love her, yes, but it's an adult love, not a swooning, heady sort of love. It's the sort of love that means accepting she needs a different type of life. When I met Anita, I had a girlfriend whom I loved very much, but I was in the process of exploring new avenues. I hoped my girlfriend would embrace this idea, too. I'd ended up cheating in a previous relationship, and, while a fleeting sexual connection can be exciting, I hated the dishonesty. Sadly, my girlfriend decided that a polyamorous relationship wasn't for her. Meanwhile, Anita and I hit it off straight away. We found we liked the same things. We went for a meal and talked the whole night. Then we went to a few exhibitions. That's the joy of this sort of life, no secrets. It was a year before I met them, but they knew all about me. I was Mummy's boyfriend. Kids are wonderful because they take things on board. They could accept that this was Daddy and this was Mummy's boyfriend. I still see other women. You'd think it might be tricky to start that conversation with someone you meet in a bar. Hey, I love my girlfriend, but I date other women. But people are surprisingly receptive. I think they are interested. Maybe they also appreciate the honesty. Since I met Anita, I have been involved in another polyamorous relationship that lasted about a year. I do feel that spending time with her children is great training for fatherhood, and I feel privileged to be in their lives. Long term, all relationships can be difficult, whether they're monogamous or non-monogamous.